Time once again for the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament. Smoo got me again. This is going on my plot card, and how I didn't really think ahead when I put together the conditions by which I would get good or bad baggage for this plot card. I said if I did a video without messing up a rule, I would get good baggage. And if I got caught on messing up a rule, I get bad baggage. The problem is that only gives me a potential 2 good baggage, and if I get bad baggage on a video, I can't get good baggage. And if Smoo can catch me on this one, it doesn't matter. I can get caught on this rule. It doesn't matter. And here's why. Because I personally believe from the rules, I haven't looked this up, however, because I don't think I need to. I personally believe that if you have equal amounts of good and bad baggage, you get the bad result. So since I had a potential of only 2 good baggage, and I've already lost one of those, right, and got 1 bad baggage, even if I don't mess up a rule today, I can't get the happy ending on this plot. So I got the good result, and then a bad result is what's going to happen. And so I thought I would try on, I don't know if you notice on the dark cards, all the characters have these kind of like maudlin expressions, which I think is great. I love it. So I thought I would do my own for you that involves the rules. I haven't practiced this, I just kind of pictured it in my head. So I think that's my dark card backing. And I'll see if something good happens to me, I'll show you my light card backing, but right now, this is how I feel in my heart of hearts. Okay, let's go play. So I neglected to mention what the rule I got wrong was, and that was that Floyd is not allowed to use dark tactics in fights. I had him use dark tactics in the last fight, so I think the upshot is he was supposed to lose a time, so I'm going to move him back 1. I think he moved here, then he must have moved here. So this is probably where he should be. I could go back and check the video, but again, I can get called on this and it doesn't matter. I've already lost this plot, so, you know, Smoo away if you want. I'm totally okay with that. No, really, I appreciate Smoo calling me out on the rules, because that's what needs to happen. That's how I can become a better person, I think. The argument had started in the coffee shop, but it had exploded out into the street like a concussion grenade. It's not about the money, Rachel. It's always about the money. No, it's not. It's about your life and your humanity and your... Jesus, Rachel, I barely know you. So, Dick played that on Rachel's behalf, and it let him totally replenish his hand. He had to get rid of all his cards, and then get a whole new hand of cards. After that, he followed up by playing one of those cards, which is one that allowed him to get 2 street favors from Oliver here, who's the boy who's all set to dispose of evidence in the Blue Sun Stadium. After that, followed up lead in Wildside, placed evidence on these 2 during this turn, the Biroid lady, and I think this guy's a clone. Yeah, the mining clone, Mark Henry. Something against artificial life, which I think is interesting, given that Rachel herself is partially artificial. She's a cyborg. So I think by placing evidence on these 2, the 2 that are artificial, she's in a way placing evidence on the part of herself that she loathes, the less human part. After that, she used a dropship path to get on Earth, leaving... Everyone's on Earth now except for Sparky's Raymond up there. We'll see if that gives him a lot of leads to choose from or not. I kind of feel like he would, because these leads are all going to get followed up, and eventually they got to kind of go skyward towards the moon. Okay, the dark cards have started to fly at Twigmar. Luckily, none of them were human first cards, and so it doesn't affect Caprice's plot. First one was thrown by Coonies, and it made it so that 1,000 conflicting voices all trying to be heard over one another roared in Caprice's mind, and she had to put her hands over her ears for all the good it did her, and then staggered back the way she came. So that made it so she couldn't go anywhere major, so any location with a picture during this turn. So it kind of changed her strategy. She was going to go to Levy University, but she was unable to do that. Then she went to follow up a lead, and Dick had this happen. Oh, Daniel, I like that. I thought you might. I'm the psychic one. So anyway, she ended up having relations and thus forgot to work on the case, and so wasted some time on that. She played a card of her own, actually, and her card let her look at one piece of evidence that was just placed, actually. She chose one that was just placed by Dick because, you know, since I'm playing all these characters, I can't remember who placed what. Whereas I feel like if I was playing with other people, I could be like, oh, I remember when so-and-so played that. So she picked one that was just placed, and it was this one right here on Mark Henry, and I'll let you look at it too. So she can, either that was just Dick dicking around, or that's a guilty hunch there for Mark Henry. That's what she figures. So what she's going to do with that information, I don't know, other than maybe inform someone else, because she can share that information. You may share this information if you wish, and so I think there's some table talk going on right now. We'll see if Mark Henry survives. Under Banana's guidance, Lewis just keeps making it worse and worse with his wife Sarah. Still, she stood up at Memories of Green, and they had this phone call. I'm sorry, honey. I tell you what, I'll make it up to you by taking you to see that Japanese garden you've been wanting to go visit. I suppose, but you're on thin ice, mister. He had to lose his Sarah favor, which he started the game with, or she started the game with Banana, and place it at these gardens here. So now he's got 2 dates to make it up to her. What's Banana having Lewis do in order to make those dates happen? She's ascending the moon. She went to Monroe and Associates, put a warrant down on Haas Byroyd, heading up there to try and cash in some points. Yeah, that's a good marriage. And Cooney's turn was rather bittersweet. Started off with he played a card that represented the director of Haas Byroyd's encouragement for him. Although you and I have had our shaky moments, I want you to know that the resources of Haas Byroyd are behind you, Floyd. Thank you, Director. That is very generous. Director Haas frowned. This contact is too important for you to screw up, Floyd. One misstep and I'll have you recycled for parts. Okay, that's kind of sad to me. Here's his sort of father figure saying that really you're just a tool, and if you mess up, you're in trouble. Then this card got played on Floyd by Dick. We don't have time for this nonsense, Floyd. I have composed a sonnet about the clouds. Would you like to hear it? Perhaps later, after the shooting is stopped, Floyd. So, not only was he kind of, I think, crushed a little bit by his father figure, the director of Haas Byroyd. Or no, mother figure. She's a woman, right? Yeah. Sorry. He wrote this beautiful poem, but no one had time to listen to it because they're too caught up in the nitty-gritty of the everyday life. That is a little bit sad to me, and I think that's part of the tragedy of this character. I think the sunny side of that, though, is he maybe doesn't know that that's what's going on. So maybe he doesn't feel hurt by it. So that's good. Upshot is he got another one of these really valuable chips. I think we determined each of these is worth 7 points, and that's quite a lot just for playing a card. The moon sits vacant of detectives in silence. Sparky has left the moon. Oh, speaking of detectives. Their guilty hunches are actually worth more if they're vindicated than I originally thought, or that I originally recorded. I read this and then kind of didn't think about it when I was doing the score. So they're actually worth +5, as it says here. Guilty hunches are worth +5. So along with the conspiracy puzzle, that and their base 15, it's 24. So that will give more of impetus for people to place evidence on their guilty hunches than their innocent hunches, which Sparky placed some evidence this turn before he came on down to the Monroe Associates. Along with placing hunches, he spent some time with his old flame, his old girlfriend. She nibbled at his ear. She made up some story about why she needed to use my contacts to get the address she wanted. But I ignored it. She was lying, after all, I could tell, because her lips were moving. Why did I do the favor for her? So anyway, he got some favors from her, which he can use at this Monroe Associates to get a warrant. Where do you think he wants a warrant on? Hospiroid. That's where the money is. Speaking of Raymond's old flame, Kate, she says she wants to testify. It's the end of the day. We moved a new event. So Kate is going to be at the Old War Memorial, which is a funny place for her to be, because that's where Raymond goes when he's sad sometimes and wants to think about the war. So his ex-girlfriend's there. That's a little bit of a creepy move, I think. Hangs out in the graveyard of his old buddies. Anyone who goes there can place one of these alibis, which are not the best things. However, it's not so easy to place hits. Oh, another thing about alibis is they're easy to flip. So if you place a perjury token down, it can become +5. They're not the best. I could see wanting to do that towards the end of the game. I don't know why you would want to place these right here. I think Banana had a different purpose when she did it for Lewis Blaine. I think she got something else out of playing that card. Maybe it was the baggage she was after. Speaking of baggage, next turn it's going to be the last turn for people to work on their current plot lines. We can take a quick look how everyone's doing. Good there. Nothing going on there. His is very conflicted. A lot going on. He had Cooney's played a card last turn that gave him 2 good baggage. He's got a very sensitive card. Anytime anyone plays bad baggage on him, anytime anyone plays a dark card on him, he gets bad baggage. And so of course people have been drawing his dark cards. It's the easiest target. These two, they get bad baggage when it's a specific dark card, and no one's gotten those dark cards yet out on them, so it hasn't really hurt them. Rachel's plot is also kind of conflicted, but it seems easier for her to deal with it. She has all these Lena favors, which, man, these Lena favors along with her dad favors are perfect favors for getting Hospiroid tokens. So we'll see if Dick decides to capitalize on that, like Banana and Sparky both seem to be trying to do. Sparky's doing good on his plot. So we're going to be ending out week 1 during our next video, and then on to the next week. I'm excited for the next week, week 2, because then we get this special event that's specific to the murder, and that's going to move things around and change things, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Right now everyone's on Earth, but I think they're only there so that they can head upwards once more.